Portland, Oregon has long been a magnet for those seeking natural beauty, West Coast lifestyle, vibrant food culture, and for those seeking access to the great Pacific Northwest outdoors. However, lately there's been a different sort of buzz.
And in today's video, we're going to be discussing the real reasons people are leaving Portland, how it's affecting the community, what it means if you're buying, selling, or staying in Portland, and whether you're a longtime resident, you're thinking about making a move here. These topics we're going to go over are going to help you make a smarter decision about real estate if you're moving to Portland, Oregon.
This is Ann Stewart. I'm Erica Hagfors, and we help people just like you navigate the real estate market here in Portland, Oregon.
So let's get into it.
Okay, Ann, what are the real reasons people are leaving Portland?
So post 2020, a lot of things changed right here in the Portland metro area, which is why a lot of people are leaving. And when we talk about Portland metro, we're kind of focusing on Multnomah County, which is
large.
It entails the downtown core, which we recently just did a driving tour on. It incorporates east and west side of Portland. It's Multnomah County and incorporates a lot of southeast, northeast, North Portland area. So that includes the downtown core as well as some of the urban, suburban areas within the downtown area, both on the west and east side of the Willamette River. Now, what is happening in those areas? Why are people leaving? Well, a lot of people post-pandemic have recognized that in the core of downtown, specifically where all the office buildings are and condos and, restaurants and businesses, that the riots, the homelessness, a lot of things got out of hand, and we're still dealing with a lot of the repercussions of that.
Yeah, a lot of our politics have led to certain policies, and those repercussions have not been dealt with, and that's forcing people out of Portland, out of Multnomah County.
And they're being forced out because a lot of businesses have quite frankly left. When a lot of people left Portland living, so there was a lot of people choosing to live in the downtown area in condos, they have vacated and left the area, whether it's outside the state or outside of the Portland proper. And then those businesses suffer and they leave. And a lot of times with the safety and the crime and the homelessness, and now we have the highest commercial vacancy in the country in the downtown core. And that's leaked out into other parts of Portland, the Portland metro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, safety, politics, and really lifestyle, with businesses and availability of things to go do is really what's driving people out.
And so we're seeing even in those urban areas where people have housing, they're trying to figure out, okay, where do we go next? If our space isn't working for us, if we're worried about crime and homelessness, they're now making a choice to make the move.
All right, what is the biggest thing the buyers need to know in this market?
Buyers, you need to know that the suburbs are hot. That is where the demand has gone to outside of the Portland metro area. Meaning, believe it or not, there was a time when the suburbs weren't as hot and people were really pushing into the urban areas of inner Portland, but now the opposite effect has happened, right, Erica?
Yeah, I actually am working with some buyers right now. They were a young family, have a young child, and are realizing that maybe where they're at in Portland is not the place that they want to raise their family, and they are looking out in the suburbs now to find that home where they've got good schools and a nice community, and they can be there for a long time to raise their family.
The other thing you need to be aware of is affordability and shifting outwards. So the suburbs, while they're becoming really popular, the affordability factor in the suburbs is changing quick, right?
Yeah, so what we're finding is that, while it used to be the Portland metro area was the expensive area to be, and you could get a lot out in the suburbs, while you can still get a good amount of home out in the suburbs just because that's what's built there, it is getting more expensive. What was $550 a couple of years ago, pre-pandemic, is now upwards of $700,000. And you can just expect to pay to get what you want.
And a lot of people are leaving because if they are a small family or they're a growing family, they're also getting school districts that rival Portland metro school districts. So there's a lot of reasons families are considering the move out to the burbs now. Also with people that are retiring, it makes a lot of sense for them to consider being closer to their families that are tending to live out in the suburbs now versus inner city.
Another thing buyers need to know about, the hidden costs of living in Portland.
Another reason that many people are leaving the Portland area is because of the rising costs, and it's starting to happen in different ways. For example, the property taxes. That is the number one reason people are leaving the Portland metro area to go outside of the Multnomah County.
I mean, here's an interesting story. I recently had some buyers and they were very smart about their purchase, but their budget for property taxes was $20,000 a year. And I actually had properties I couldn't show them that fit their budget for price, but did not fit their budget for taxes.
Yes.
That's wild.
Yeah. I mean, Eric and I can tell you you story after story of clients that have reached out to us that are selling their properties inside of Portland Metro, which is considered Multnomah County, and saying, I don't want to deal with these property tax increases anymore. And there's all kinds of reasons that people are leaving because of the hidden costs. There's art tax. There's constant taxation on people who live in Multnomah County versus Washington or Clackamas County.
Even do work in Multnomah County.
Yes.
It's really kind of wild. They will tax you every way possible, and they're always increasing.
Yeah, so taxation is a big reason people are leaving because the cost of living in Multnomah County is outpricing many people.
All right, so here's 3 things that we generally tell people when they're thinking of moving out of the Portland metro area into the suburb.
The first thing is you need to be aware of the commute. So if you are commuting to the east side from the west side, traffic is gonna be a pain. Or if you're going to downtown, it's not gonna be a quick jaunt. A lot of times you're taking back roads before you get on the freeway system. So make sure you check what your commuting hours look like and maybe even travel it in advance to see how you feel about it.
The other thing that we generally tell people is that new construction is an option out in the suburbs. However, you're gonna find some hidden costs with that. While you can get really great builder incentives sometimes, some things are not gonna be included, like refrigerator, washer, dryer, blinds, depending on who the builder is, maybe things like a garage door opener or landscaping. So just keep that in mind. Make sure that you're asking those questions or budgeting for that.
And the other thing you need to be aware of is the cost of living. It is going to be, to get what you want, you're still going to be paying a premium for housing. So while your property taxes might be better and certain things will be better than living in the Portland metro area, the cost of finding the house you want, we often find people are surprised by the fact that they're paying more for the actual house. So just something to be aware of.
All right, so now we're going to talk about what do sellers need to know in this market.
So if you are a seller, you need to be very aware that it is no longer the COVID real estate market that you heard about. The market isn't booming to the point where multiple offers are happening on all properties. In fact, we're seeing a very balanced market in most cases, and even a few areas that are considered a buyer's market at this point. Very few are leaning towards a seller's market, so be prepared to bring your A game to the market. That means your location,
100%.
your price, and most importantly, the condition that you're bringing your house to market matters.
Can't say it any better. All right, something else sellers need to be aware of is you are always competing with new construction. Some of these very popular suburbs like Happy Valley, Sherwood, Beaverton area, and Tigard have a lot of new construction. That means that guess what? You're gonna be competing against that. Even if you have a better yard or you're heavily updated, buyers can get fantastic incentives when it comes to new construction. So they may take that option because they're gonna get a bigger house sometimes with newer finishes and not have to worry about updating anytime soon.
So understand that your competition is not just the resale properties. It's going to be up against the new construction that offers a lot more.
Right, pretty and shiny.
All right, sellers, this is a big one, and it's that you're gonna be up against appraisal scrutiny, and inspections have never been more cautious for buyers. So when they go to the home inspection, they're gonna be reanalyzing everything about your house as far as condition. That means repairs and maintenance. And if your house is going to need a lot of that, a lot of times buyers reject you. And we've seen the highest number of sale fails ever in the industry as we have in 2025, meaning the buyers can walk away for any reason during that inspection process and keep their earnest money here in Oregon. So you need to sometimes consider a pre-inspection where you can get ahead of all those things that might come up in advance of the home inspection and take care of them before they become a deal breaker. Also, appraisers. You have the buyer and the buyer's agents agree to our pricing, but more than ever, we need the financing to agree with us as well. And that means the appraiser who comes to look at your house once everybody's agreed on the price also has to agree.
All right, so one of the biggest things that sellers need to think about is pricing right away.
Now, sellers, listen up because this is the most important piece to your marketing is your price. A lot of sellers want to price higher to have room to negotiate, or quite frankly, you just feel that you're worth more than your other counterparts that are on the market. And this is a kiss of death in this market if you start too high. Price reductions are on the rise. In fact, in most cases around Portland right now, half the homes on the market have a price reduction every single week. So if you don't price ahead of your competition, you may be way behind your competition and getting sold. And that often leads to sitting on the market too long and having a buyer ask the number one question they always ask when they walk in the door is, why has the house been on market for so long? And that either leads them to be suspicious about your price and your condition, and they choose to pass or wait you out, or they move on, or they write you a low offer, or they don't write you an offer at all. Low offer opportunity. So don't get stuck in that pattern because a lot of sellers are doing that in this market and it's hurting their bottom line in the end.
So are you thinking of leaving Portland, Oregon, or are you dreaming of making it your home?
If that's the case, reach out to us. Our phone number is listed below. We'd love to hop on a call with you and help you navigate your move to Portland, Oregon. See you on the next video.